a.m. Let's hit the throttle. Oh my God, yeah, hands going up. Let's hit the dance floor again.
Wild like.
Hello, welcome to The Wild Viewer on The Wild Viewer, and today I'm going to review a thing. It's December now. That means it's Christmas. People are putting up their Christmas lights everywhere. People are singing Christmas songs. And Freeform is playing their 25 Days of Christmas now. Alright, they've been playing it since November. I don't know why they started early. Not only that, but a lot of networks are playing Christmas movies, which I intend to watch. If you remember last year, I talked about a few Christmas movies that I enjoy. I like watching Elf, all 3 Santa Claus movies with Tim Allen, The Grinch, Christmas Vacation, A Charlie Brown Christmas, Jingle All the Way, Home Alone. What, nobody likes Home Alone? Oh, you don't like Jingle All the Way, is that the issue? I like it. Released in 1996, Jingle All the Way was a movie that starred Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad. That's an odd group to put together. The movie focused on Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, Howard, a dad that is never really there for his family. Yes, it's one of those stories. After missing his son Jamie move up to a new colored belt in his karate class, Jamie is now fed up with his dad, seeing that he's always working and is never there for him. But Howard is determined to make sure that Jamie has a great Christmas and will promise him to get him whatever he wants for Christmas. With that said, the only thing Jamie really wants for Christmas is the #1 hit toy in the town, Turbo Man, a superhero action figure that is basically God to all the little boys. Howard is now determined to get his toy for his child. And so is everybody in the town, including a mailman played by Sinbad. And Howard is literally doing everything he can in his power, goes on this wild goose chase just to get this one toy to make his son happy. Huh, that's fun. That's a fun little story. How come nobody likes it? Obviously, people give this movie a bad rep. IMDb gives it a 5.5 out of 10 stars. And around this time, this was the one movie a lot of my friends and me would joke around with in high school. I guess one reason was because nobody would expect Arnold Schwarzenegger would be doing a role such as this. Everybody mostly thinks of Terminator when you think Arnold Schwarzenegger. You don't really think of Jingle All the Way. However, I see nothing wrong with it. I actually kind of like it. Yeah, there's some corny and cheesy jokes, some of the lines aren't very good, but it's very unique in its own way. 3 ways, actually. First off, Arnold Schwarzenegger is hilarious in this role. Like I said, we usually associate Arnold with the Terminator movies. You wouldn't really expect to see him in a role where he's a dad and he's running around getting a toy for his son because he loves his son. You're used to just seeing him kick ass. Before I go on, I'd like to make it very clear, I haven't seen the Terminator movies. Get that off the screen. I understand something's wrong with me. I haven't seen them, so I don't know anything that really goes on in the movies, but I can expect that there are fights. It's an action movie. I know he's a cyborg, and that's really all I know. I'm sorry, America. Arnold playing this character is probably one of the best things in this movie. Just seeing him run around screaming everywhere, going after just an innocent little toy for a child, I find very humorous. A lot of people associate Arnold's famous lines with lines from Terminator, like, "I'll be back," or whatever else he says in Terminator. For me, though, this is my favorite line he's ever said in a film.
Oh, these cookies! I gotta get the recipe from Liz. Put that cookie down! Now!
I die every time I see this. It's absolutely hilarious. You probably don't have a soul if you don't find that funny. Something about Arnold jumping up and down, having a hissy fit, the fact that he's not going to be able to eat his cookies if his neighbor eats them, is pissing him off. I find that absolutely humorous. The second thing, which actually kind of ties into the first thing, is it's an interesting take on the whole "the dad's always busy" cliche. Again, we've seen that cliche so many times. In some of the movies, they don't really do it right. And on that topic, this isn't even the only Christmas movie that has that cliche. There's another movie called Jack Frost that has that exact same cliche. The only difference is the dad is actually a rock star, has a gig around Christmas and leaves his family. What happens in that film? Well, this isn't a review on it, but the dad ends up dying. That's how dark this is. And his soul comes back into the snowman that his son built. And that's it. I'd prefer this movie over that one. Mostly because this takes it into a different direction. Unlike all the other films with that cliche where the dad obviously has to learn something, this time Arnold playing Howard doesn't really learn anything. I mean, he loves his son, he knows he loves his son. You can tell by the emotion, he feels really bad. In fact, in the beginning, you actually see him arrive at the place where the karate tournament was taking place, but he was hours late. So that does show that he cares. He's not like one of those guys that does his job, completely ignores his family. He does make it a point to put his family at a certain place, he just isn't trying hard enough. And unlike being turned into a snowman, or turned into a cat, or turned into a ghost even, with Ghost Dad, he doesn't become anything. If you want to consider him becoming something, he becomes into a complete whack job as he tries to get this one toy. That's what's very interesting about this film compared to all the other ones. He's actually determined to get something and goes out to try to get something for his kid, rather than the other films where they're kind of forced to be around them and learn more about him. That is clever. That's one reason why I like this film. Watch the third reason! Well, I might be repeating myself with the third one, but the movie's just overall clever. Out of all the Christmas films I've seen, I've never exactly seen one that focuses on a specific toy. And if there are Christmas movies out there that are very similar like this, I just haven't seen them, so don't pound me for that statement. Making a Christmas film, I could probably bet, is one of the hardest things to do than making just an ordinary film, because you actually have to incorporate Christmas into your story. And throughout cinema history, it's very rare you get an original idea. You either get a remake of a very popular Christmas tale like A Christmas Carol, or It's a Wonderful Life, or even Miracle on 34th Street. You have the romantic Christmas movies that focus on, oh well, I'm in love with her, and I don't know what romantic movies are like, but I'm pretty sure they're like that. It's just about love. You have Christmas movies that focus on people saving Christmas. I mean, the words save Christmas are literally in the title. With some movies, they are very clever. Elf focuses on a human who's raised to be an elf and trained to be an elf, only to find out that he's not an elf and is determined to meet his human dad as he embarks on a journey into New York City and has to adapt to human life. The Santa Claus movies focus on a guy who takes over from Santa after he dies, and there's a little wordplay with the whole Claus name. Claus, and then Claus with an E, is clever. The Grinch, although based off of a story by Dr. Seuss, is a very original and creative story about a beast that doesn't want Christmas and does everything he can to make sure it doesn't happen. And in doing so, he just decides to steal Christmas from the village to make sure it doesn't happen. A Christmas Story focuses on a little boy wanting a gun for Christmas, but also sees the perspective of a young boy at that age around Christmas time. This can be considered as one of those clever movies that can be original, but at the same time has a little cliche to it. But that whole busy dad cliche is completely irrelevant to the actual story itself. A story about a dad that is so determined to get this popular toy for his son just to make him happy that he will do literally anything for it, including dressing up as the toy and performing in a parade just to make sure that he gives the toy to his kid. Again, it's not the world's best Christmas movie. There are definitely some flaws, like there are cheesy and corny lines here and there. But other than that, the whole story I think is pretty original. And I get a kick out of it every year watching it. I look forward to watching it this year if I could find it anywhere. And if you want to give it a try, if you've never seen it before, I would suggest you should. It's definitely good fun to see Arnold Schwarzenegger scream his brains out. Only this time, instead of yelling at whatever type of villains are in Terminator, you see him freaking out because he doesn't want people touching his cookies.
Put that cookie down! Now!
So that's the whole gist with Jingle All the Way. Now I want to hear what you guys think. Have you ever seen Jingle All the Way? Have you not seen it? If you have seen it, what do you think about it? Do you agree or disagree with anything that I said in this video? Tell me in the comments, and also leave me your suggestions for whatever movie, TV show, or random thing you want me to talk about next. Thanks for watching The Wild Review. On The Wild Review... Wait a minute. Something's not right. I'm at the end of the video. I'm saying my goodbye, I'm saying the closing, and nothing's happened yet. No surprises yet. Oh, that's where the power is. This is weird. This is definitely not normal. The last 2 years that I've been doing this, whenever I make my second to last video, which also happens to be one of my Christmas videos, there's always some weird transition into my last video. And it leads me to watching a really bad Christmas film. I watched Nickmas specials that aired in the early 2000s, and I'm forced to watch A Fairly Odd Christmas. Talk about the Elf on the Shelf Christmas special, which is no longer on YouTube because it got a copyright strike. And I end up getting a weird DVD, and I'm forced to watch Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, which was poorly weird and just weird, honestly. Now I'm talking about Jingle All the Way, and nothing has happened yet. So I don't know what kind of transition the universe is putting on me. I don't know what's next. What do you got for me, huh? Or maybe you just don't have anything, and there's like no transition. I mean, that's very possible. There doesn't have to be one every year. I could just be paranoid. I definitely am crazy. Okay, who left this batch of gummy bears just lying on the floor? Hey, thanks for watching the video. Make sure you click that like and subscribe button if you like what you see. Make sure you come back next week for the final video of the year where I discuss a movie that I don't know why this was made. I just don't. I really don't.
Wildlife.